And welcome to the Smoke Break. We are here every Sunday from 9 to 10 a.m. on Shady Pines Radio, as well as Pretty Dope Experience Radio. I'm your host, Joel Palzane, here with Brent Lowrey.
Hey.
Yo, there he is. And Rachelle Cochran, a.k.a. Dirty Racket.
Hello.
Welcome to the show.
Thank you.
You didn't ask my nickname.
Well, what is your nickname?
Dirty Brentley.
Dirty Brentley. It's official. That's
my rap name.
That is going to be the name that we address you by for the rest of the episode. So on this week's episode, we're actually talking about people pleasing. It's a tricky thing. A lot of people fall victim to it. Some people are not bothered by it. Where would you say that you land on the scale of people pleasing?
Where do you want me to land?
Where do you truly land? Where do you truly feel like you land?
I think I generally am trying to be well liked, and I will do things that people from the East Coast especially roll their eyes at when I do them. Like, oh, fuck.
Yeah.
You got no spine. Pandering. You know, I just want to be liked, so I people please a lot.
Okay. What about you, Rachelle?
I definitely people please to a fault. Like, I don't know how to say no to people.
Yeah.
Actually, double book myself quite a bit because I also just
She actually didn't want to be here today.
I need to be somewhere right now.
I just want people to like me, and I'm afraid if I don't say yes, they're gonna be like, I
No
don't
more
like you
opportunities anymore. Yep.
Yeah.
You said no to one thing. That means you said no to everything, right?
Exactly. Yeah.
I don't know if you guys do this too. If you ever have anybody give you like bad body language or say something that's like kind of ambiguous,
Yes.
that ruminates and like stays in your head. You're like, why did I? Wow.
Oh, 100%.
Yes.
100%. Like I go back through everything that people say and I'm just like, yes, it was a sentence, but did it have another sentence hidden inside of it? Yeah, I have a bad tendency to do that. I would say that I'm a people pleaser as well, but it's something I'm trying to get away from because I feel like it's something that's holding me back because, you know, being well liked is something that's, I think it's necessary in society, but I don't think it's like the only way to exist in society.
And people like somebody who doesn't give a fuck, you know?
It's
like,
a cool thing to do. It's a cool personality trait.
Yeah.
they don't like when that person doesn't give a fuck about them, but the general air of like, I do what I want. If that person doesn't like me, they could suck my dick. There's other people watching that are like, yeah, I like that.
I wish I could be that.
Yeah, definitely. So do you think that like not being a people pleaser like has its perks as well?
Yeah, you can do whatever the fuck you want.
Yeah, and you don't go to sleep like, oh, I said something wrong to that guy. You're just like, I'm me. And then you go to sleep and then you fall asleep.
That's all I need is to just be able to go to sleep and be like, I'm me. I mean, honestly, I'd probably sleep a lot better.
Yeah.
So when do you find yourself people pleasing?
On stage a lot, I think.
Okay.
I'm afraid of saying the wrong thing on stage because I want the whole audience to like me and never want to divide the audience. That scares the hell out of me. When people invite me to things, I always want to make sure I say yes. Like I'm awful at confrontation too. Like I never ever want to be in the middle of any kind of argument or dispute or confrontation. I'm very much like, I agree with you.
Yeah.
Cheers.
Yeah. What about you?
I think when there's a power dynamic, when somebody is of higher status than me, I tend to go harder on people pleasing, which, you know, is a weird way to like size people up and go, can I get something out of this person? I should please them. You know?
Yeah.
I don't want to be disliked by somebody who has
Opportunities.
And that's like it's not a great.
No, but I mean, it's realistic. I think it's like when I find myself, you know, maybe trying to be something that I'm not, it's because I'm trying to impress, you know, somebody who I believe to be of higher stature. You know, it's like this person is cooler than me. They have more things. So like, to be liked by a cool person means that I must be cool, right?
Yeah, it's validating.
What's funny is that's so apparent from their perspective, and it's not. It's very like
it's off-putting.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And you're afraid that cool person might tell all their cool friends about you, and you're not going to be liked by anybody up there.
Yeah. No, I definitely, I feel like it's kind of like a trap that you kind of fall into, because you're just like, I need to be liked by this person, because if this person likes me, then this group of people likes me, then and it's like a domino effect of like just slowly selling parts of yourself until you're fucking universally liked but hated by yourself
until you're empty.
Right. The only person you should really be worried about pleasing is yourself.
Ideally, I think that's it. That's the idea that we all want to go for, but I think it's harder than that.
Well, and people use that rationale to be very toxic sometimes.
Exactly. Yeah, I kind of got your angle with that, but yeah, it's very toxic, because it's like, you can't, like, the reason they say that, like, like we want to be liked so much is because, like, in society, like cavemen, if they weren't liked, then they were out of the tribe, and if they were out of the tribe, they were eaten by wolves.
Yeah.
So it's like that we have that same, like, if I'm not liked, then I'm out of the tribe, which means I'm eaten by wolves reaction to every single cringy thing that we say or do.
Yeah, it's biological.
Definitely. So what do you feel like is the thing that, like, is sacrificed most when you try to people please?
What I want to do. I think what I really want to do, how I really want to spend my time.
Yeah.
Your authenticity, which is like what people are generally drawn to. And if they're not, then those are the people you're like, well, that doesn't matter. If me being authentic draws some people, that should be enough. But I think what gets sacrificed is your authenticity, which is very, especially in what we do, it's very valuable.
Well, yeah. And I think that, like, authenticity is the thing that people, like, appreciate the most, like, more than somebody who's well liked by everybody. It's I would rather like somebody who not everybody likes, but I know is real, than somebody that everybody likes that I'm like, that person's fake as fuck.
Yeah, most people probably feel that way.
Yeah. You think so?
Yeah, there's people who you're like, well, I don't feel like I even know that person, even if they're well liked, But there's people who are outsiders to society, but they're transparent, and you feel like you know them through their art or through your discussions with them. And those are people that you can trust and, like, get behind. Those are people that can inspire you.
Yeah, definitely. No, I think that's a really good point. I think there's a lot that gets kind of sacrificed when you take the part of yourself that makes you and you make that not you, because you feel like a different you is what people are looking for, Do you have
a chalkboard for that one?
I'm going to have to draw a lot of arrows. There's going to be something that pops up on screen. But yeah, basically just the idea that, like, even if a fake you is liked, then you won't like that person.
Sure.
Yeah,
you can, your integrity is probably what gets sacrificed.
Yeah, definitely. So have you ever changed a life pursuit because of somebody else's wishes?
Yeah. It's kind of a boring story. In college, I wanted to be in sports marketing, but my parents really convinced me to go into accounting. And so I majored in accounting so that I would never not have a job. And that part rings true, but I lost my soul. So, I lost my happiness with that.
What did you want to do with sports marketing?
I was really into sports back then. Yeah, I wanted to, like, talk about sports and, work for Nike and stuff.
That's funny. You're like, I sold my soul, but I wanted to work for Nike. That's what.
Yeah.
Which is sort of in the industry of soul selling. I wish I could have sold my soul to Nike. I would have got way more money selling my soul to Nike.
Yeah, pretty much.
But I can relate with that, with just kind of like you do something because you think it's what somebody else wants, but like it's not ultimately what you want. So even if you're good at it, it's not fulfilling.
Yeah, I'm not good at accounting either. So
yeah, but I didn't say that you weren't a good at accounting, but
it's because you're a soulless accountant.
It's true.
The best accountants have a little soul.
It's true.
What about you?
No, I don't think I have actually. Like,
you haven't sold your soul.
Changed what I do.
Changed the pursuit because of somebody else's wishes.
Maybe in terms of like relationships, but in terms of career, no. I was a popcorn salesman for 7 years. That was not because I was trying to please anybody other than myself.
Yeah,
I thought it was fun, and it was funny to tell people that I was a popcorn salesman.
Yeah.
What was the most fun part of your job as a popcorn salesman?
So there was an era where it was just me and my buddy Ryan, who was a huge stoner like me. So we would just get high as shit and go get free samples all day of popcorn. And we would have like little games we would play. We would go to certain cities in San Diego where they were Spanish only. Like it was a border city in El Centro, and it's like 75% of people walking around are speaking Spanish. And I spoke Spanish for 4 years in high school.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Well, I took the class. I didn't really speak it that often, but I got good enough at it that I would use it in these Spanish-only stores.
Okay.
Nice.
And I came up with this character called Señor Palomitas, which meant Mr. Popcorn. And Ryan, he didn't speak Spanish, but he let me call him Queso Blanco. And he was like my white sidekick. And together we ran this popcorn booth where like at first people... I'd be like, hola, ¿cómo están? And they'd be like a little skeptical at first. Like, I remember sometimes people go, how do you know I speak Spanish? And I'd go, ¿qué? But like after most of the time they would go with it and see, oh, he can conjugate his verbs. He knows what he's listening. And so we made this job that was probably like just a bullshit job, going to this area where like it might be tough to kind of sell popcorn. It was like the main source of the economy was a prison. So like it's people who live there because they either work at the prison or they have a family
just gotten out of
prison that they want to be near, that they can visit.
Dang.
It's not people who have a lot of like disposable income for gourmet popcorn. But when you make the thing a party, my whole philosophy was if you can make somebody laugh, you could sell them popcorn. So we kind of had fun with it. And we like...
Yeah, that's a good philosophy.
That's awesome.
We made that work. And this was all to say, most of my pursuits have not been like rewarding financially, but like comedy, you know, that's not soul sucking, you know. It reminds me though of that James Hartenfeld joke he does sometimes where he goes, I don't even like comedy. I'm just here because my mom makes me.
That's he would say that. That's so fucking good. No, but I think that, you know, you were meeting people where they were at, you know what I mean? Like, you're just like, hey, this is your language, you know, like, and there's a certain amount of like people are attracted to that. Like, even just you trying to like meet them where they're at.
Yeah.
So, yeah. But I think that it's also really cool that, you know, a lot of your pursuits, whether they've been financially rewarding, like they've been rewarding to you and you've been able to make the most out of them.
And I'm grateful that my parents, who have never like put that extra pressure on me to do something that would be, that they could tell their friends about and be proud of, you know, they're proud of the fact that I, you know, march to the beat of my own drum or whatever, you know, the cliche is.
Yeah.
So that's nice.
That's sweet. Hell yeah, Papa Lowrey. That's so sweet.
I'm like the Cochrans. No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah.
I'm kidding. They seem like nice
Talking
people.
about you, Dad. Just kidding.
So why do you think people please?
To be liked, I think. Yeah.
Yeah, it's that whole you don't want to be an outsider.
You don't want to be alone.
Yeah, so like a fear. So maybe like a fear of like being an outsider.
Yeah.
And it's also probably what you see a lot of. I think people who aren't people pleasers probably have role models and parents who went their own way and maybe weren't the most likable, but were somebody that they respected.
Yeah. Do you feel like you had that relationship with your parents? Because you're somebody who I look up to as not being a people pleaser, so I assume that there was somebody that you looked to for something similar.
I don't know. I feel like both my parents are like relative. They know how to turn the charm on and like, you know, people please. But yeah, I don't know. I think I generally defer to trying to make people like me.
Okay. Yeah. Well, it looks like I'm looking up to the wrong person.
I was going to say, I think you're a people pleaser, aren't you, Brett? More or less, kind of a little bit.
I have been booed 3 times in the last month.
That's right.
But.
Yeah. But I mean, that means that you're somebody who's such like a good joke writer that like, I think that if you were ever booed, it was because you said something that you wanted to say, not because you said something that was like, well, that just kind of came out.
Thanks. I appreciate that. The perspective I'm trying to lean in on more is like, look, some people are not going to like the subjects or the way I'm talking about them. So if I just stop trying to be universally liked or like, quote unquote, a good person, then we can stop judging whether or not I'm good and just am I funny, which is really the main thing on stage.
Yeah.
I can be a good person off stage, but I don't have to present the most socially conscious person on stage as long as I'm not promoting like hate, you know?
Yeah. My favorite quote in the world, and you can live by this, I live by this: you can be the juiciest peach in the world, but there are going to be some motherfuckers out there who don't like peaches. You know what I mean? Like, you can't please everybody all the time.
Amen to that.
You be that cute little peach.
Thanks.
Right? Yeah.
Thank you.
All right. Well, we're going to take a real quick commercial break, and we'll be right back with the smoke break. We're here every Sunday from 9 to 10 a.m. on Shady Pines Radio, as well as Pretty Dope Experience Radio. And we are back with the smoke break. So for this portion of the smoke break, something I want to talk about is finding your voice. I feel like it's not the easiest thing. I feel like there's a lot of stumbling that comes along with, just speaking even, like you have to say something to find out if it was the right thing. And then after that, you have to evaluate and decide was that what I wanted to say or just how it came out. So what's been your experience with finding your voice, Brent?
Are we speaking?
Could be comedy, could be just your voice in general.
Okay. Yeah, that was my question.
I'm so sorry.
No. It was.
I had that question too.
So I think it probably helps to it's probably not too credible if you say you found your voice on stage, but you haven't found it as a human.
Yeah.
My guess is that one flows from the other a lot more naturally.
Yeah.
So finding the people around you or that help you, the people who support your authentic self.
Yeah.
Having more of those around and being yourself off stage can really help you probably find your voice on stage.
Yeah, definitely. I can definitely say there's been times where like I've felt like the person who I was off stage carried on stage because I was just in such a relaxed mood that like as soon as I got on stage, I was just like, oh, I'm just going to take that energy that I just had a second ago with my friends and then go and share that with the audience.
Yeah.
So,
and those sound a lot different than the ones that you sound like, oh, I was in my head during this. I sound like I don't sound like me. You can listen back to your sets and go, oh, that's what I want to sound like.
Yes.
Versus, well, that's a little, but sometimes when you're like a host, you have to play up that energy and be like bigger than you actually feel or are.
Yeah.
And stuff like that. But where I am at with finding my voice is probably closer than I was. I feel like I get closer every year. And I especially feel that ever since I've been in Portland. I feel a group of our community is unique in that it's incredibly supportive on and off stage. So there's a group of people that like kind of just embrace, oh, you want to be one of us? Cool. Like, and that feeling of showing up to a bar or a mic and not worrying about, oh, that guy doesn't like me. That guy doesn't like me.
Yeah.
Just knowing like,
the people pleasing.
I can fist bump kind of everybody. And like maybe I'm not super close with this person, but I have respect for them and they seem to have been, they haven't done anything to piss me off either. That's true for like 99% of the places I go now. And that helps you just be a human.
Well, it gets you
bring that out on stage.
Yeah, it gets you comfortable enough that like when you do get on stage, like if you're something I guess I always tried to do is like before a set, like I would try to like if I'm doing like a showcase, I would try to make friends with people in the audience because it's easier to go up in front of your friends than it is to go up in front of a bunch of fucking randos.
Yeah, I check people in for the Don't Tell shows. Just the way the staff is, like I'm the one who's doing it on my phone, so I've found that that's given me a way better read on, like when I then go up and host, I've already greeted all these people and talked to them and looked them in the face. I know half of their names because they told me them. Like, there's already a closeness.
Yeah, there's already a rapport going.
Yeah. And it's almost like cheating when you go on stage.
Yeah, that's brilliant.
Yeah.
It does help to know. And or be just genuinely curious about a few people in the audience that maybe you could play with when you're on stage and ask questions. But yeah.
What about you, Rachelle? What's been your experience with finding your voice? Because you're doing music, you're doing comedy. I mean, that's a lot of voices to find.
Yeah, I would say I'm still very much, I think, finding my voice. Like I always want to be evolving and growing. And for a long time, I feel like I wasn't really able to be myself with my voice, Like it's only within the last couple years that I like have talked about being gay and like my girlfriend. And that like I feel like a completely different person than when I was like 5 years ago even. But being out and being my genuine self has definitely been easier to find my voice, obviously. But
so you think that like coming out gave you like it made you feel a little bit more authentic?
Absolutely. Yeah. I was hiding. It's such a big part of who you are, you know, like, I didn't come out till 2017. I went to church until 2019. Like I was very much in it, you know, the whole Catholic thing, and breaking free from that and not worrying about what my family thinks of me on stage or what I say on stage has been the most free experience of my life. And so it's really enabled me to say whatever the fuck I want and how I feel.
It's a combination of our two topics, basically.
Yeah. Well, I can kind of see like where the people pleasing is it leads you to not be your most authentic self. Therefore, the self that you bring to the stage that's not you yet.
Yeah, like I had family members tell me, like, as soon as you came out, Rachelle, you went all the way to the gay side. And I was like, well, like, I've been holding back for so long. Like, I finally can, you know? Like, one of my first songs I ever wrote was called Lady Boners, and my family fucking hates it. But hey, it was me. And I loved it. So.
Yeah, but that's part of you finding your voice is like is being able to like, okay, how do I want to present myself to the world, you know? And sometimes I feel like when we're finding our voice, it can kind of come out in extremes, you know? Like I like with me, like I'm also trying to find my voice, and I would say with like talking about like what are you laughing about?
I keep thinking about Rochelle's grandma listening to Lady Boners.
my grandma likes that one.
Yeah, she's the exception to the rule.
Funny. Her playing it and be like, all right.
But
sorry.
No, you're good. You're good.
Shout out to you, Grandma.
But no, I would say like with finding my voice, like like mental health is something that I talk about, but I don't want it to be the only thing that I talk about. But for a while, it was the only thing where I would go into a set and I'd be like, and I'm just like hammering people with all of this content. And it's like, the thing is before that, I never talked about it at all, you know? So it was like, I went from one extreme to another of like trying to find my voice. So I think in finding your voice, sometimes it takes going to an extreme.
Yeah, it builds up inside you.
Yeah,
you know?
Exactly. It takes going to an extreme until you can find where like a happy medium is.
Which is like anything you bring out on stage for the first time, you know?
Yeah.
You have to refine it. You know?
Yeah. Definitely. Yeah. And you have to be willing to refine it. You know, if you think that the first thing that you said the first time was the perfect thing, then you're not willing to grow.
Yeah. And then there's certain things where you're like, oh, well, this is saying the same thing twice, or this joke's very much like this. What if I only needed one of them, or combine these two things? You know, like that comes from just saying it a bunch. So you might come out at first, which is, all he's doing is, you know, race jokes. It's like, well, that's because you're trying to discover how to say something that's important to you. So, you know, in the process, you might have people be like, it's a lot, it's too much. But when it's ready and it's right, it'll be just enough. That's what, you know.
Yeah. That's what the hope is with finding your voice.
And so much of what we do on stage, at least, is experimenting in front of people and failing. So finding your voice at home in a mirror doesn't work. You have to kind of find your voice in front of strangers, and by it not going well sometimes.
Yeah.
That's scary shit.
Yeah. No, it definitely is. I would say that, you know, finding your voice is, oh, man, I've had a really hard time with it, because like as somebody who raps as well, it's like, what do I want to rap about, you know? And like, how do I want to rap, and what's my flow, and what's the tone of my voice? Like, I'm trying to figure out all these different things, and it's like, ultimately all I want to do is express something. But like, if I haven't found the way to express it in my most authentic self, then like, it's never going to come across as authentic as it truly is.
I mean, that authenticity should be like one of the main things you're chasing. Because when you have it, and it's not too different on and off stage, then all of a sudden you're getting way more inspired by ideas off stage, because that's how I would say it. Like, I'm the same on and off stage. So when I think of something funny off stage, that would work just like this as a joke. It takes less time than when I don't have a rubric or like a standard. then it's just, do you guys think this is funny? Oh, that's funny? Cool, I'll keep it. Versus when it is all coming from you, you're like, well, that's funny and authentic. And if you like it, perfect. Now I'll keep it.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I definitely think that
probably the same with rap.
Yeah. Yeah. Well,
thinking bars.
Bars. Yeah. You're thinking bars. Drinking bars. You're thinking bars. I'm sorry. That was so stupid. So who helped you? So a lot of people, like when they're trying to find their voice, they emulate somebody else. Something I heard was imitate until you can innovate. Do you feel like there's anybody who was like that for you?
Maria Bamford, I think, growing up was someone I really like. She was one of the first comedians I ever saw on TV, and her ability to do act outs and impressions and like move more on stage is something I really want to do more. And honestly, Joe Coy too.
Joe Coy, yeah, both a lot of energy.
Just I want to have that energy. I want to be a spectacle on stage. I don't want to stand there. I want people to be like, oh, I'm missing half of this by not being able to see what's going on.
Yeah. You know? Yeah, that's a really good value, I think.
Yeah.
What about you?
Cat Williams.
Cat Williams. Okay. Yeah, I was going to say, you seem very cat-esque.
I was like, would that be funnier or Wanda Sykes? What would be funnier to say?
Dude, I don't know. Is the best.
I've always, I've tried to keep many different, influences in terms of, watching a lot of different professional comedians because I don't want to sound like one.
Yeah, exactly.
If I sound like a bunch of different ones, maybe I do a little.
Then you sound like you.
Bill Burr. Yeah, if you sound like the ones that inspire you, they should be bringing out different parts of you. And sometimes that is somebody that looks like you and sounds like you. Sometimes it's somebody that doesn't look or sound anything like you. So that
Cat Williams.
That was a joke. That was a joke, but it's also probably true. There's some comedians that look and have completely different experiences than me, but I'm like, I like what they're doing.
Yeah, like for me, that's Bill Burr. Where I'm just like we even think very differently on certain things, but there is an influence of that it's just like, no, I appreciate how real he is.
Yeah, he's one for me for sure. Overall, though, I mean, it hasn't been one.
Yeah. You wouldn't say that it's been one, but finding your voice has been kind of the process of finding multiple voices and then figuring out how that makes you more authentic.
Yeah, and I think it is important to at least watch people who are excelling in the field that you want to pursue, because maybe you're not going to find somebody who sounds exactly like you, but if they've found success, they're doing something right, and if that resonates with you, that's something to follow versus just watching open mics. I don't know. If you watch just open mics, you're going to start to sound like an open micer.
Sure.
So it's important to watch real comedians when they come through Helium or Netflix specials, you know, just to keep a professional influence, to aspire to.
Okay. Yeah.
Didn't they say, well, I read this book called Grit. It's really good. It's about not quitting and just sticking with it. And they said once TV was televised, once basketball was televised on TV, the bar for how good you were at basketball went all the way up because people were able to watch these professionals day in and day out, and they learned so much by just watching. And so people playing basketball have just gotten better and better and better just from watching.
Yeah. No, so, I think there's a lot.
What Brent's saying is true. It really pays off to watch the pros.
Yeah, absolutely. No, I think that's a really good point to bring up, is that there's a lot of growth that can happen. And if you can see it as potential for your own growth instead of being I'm not there yet, this person's there, if you can just see that as but they got there, so maybe I could too.
Exactly. One day that'll be me.
Yeah, exactly.
And I think that's also why it's cool to watch people live, because when you watch their specials, it's flawless. It's everything they wanted it to be. But when you watch one of your favorites struggle, then you're like, oh, they have weird moments too that they either find a way out of typically or don't. But either way, it's encouraging to be like, oh, it's not,
They're mortal.
They're mortal.
Yeah.
I think that's important to see, or go, how would he get out of this? Maybe I could do something similar when I experience adversity or get booed.
Yeah.
By some bitch in North Bend. I'm sorry.
You are all good. But we are going to take a real quick commercial break, and we will be right back with the smoke break. We're here every Sunday from 9 to 10 a.m. on Shady Pines Radio, as well as Pretty Dope Experience Radio. And welcome back to the smoke break. We are here with our musical guest, Dirty Racket. So welcome to the stage, Dirty Racket.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. The first song I'm going to sing about is about, it's about what you wear in the summer. My favorite shoes are my Tevas. My girlfriend calls them my sex flops. And yeah, I'm ready to break those out this summer. Hit it, DJ. Let's do it again. What you got in your feet? What you got in your feet? Yeah, yeah, yeah. Ooh, boy. Yeah. Huddle to the club with something fly on my feet. Soon as you see him, yeah, you wanna take a seat. Got a beer in my hand, damn, I feel giddy. My swag should be banned, oh damn, it's full of sticky. Hear the music bumping, it's about to happen. I'm about to blow your mind like you can't imagine. Help you re-examine the meaning of fashion. Don't you wanna know how I get on this action? I know my sex flop be giving you the bad thoughts. Girl, sex appeal is the only thing that I got. I know my sex flop be giving you the bad thoughts. I know my feet be dripping with that mighty fine sauce. I know my sex flop be giving you the bad thoughts. Girl, sex appeal is the only thing that I got. Look at my feet dripping with that fine sauce. Look at my feet dripping with that fine sauce. Feeling hot like wasabi, you mad cause you ain't me. You can kinda cocky, I already know that if I be jealous of my swagger, the slip flop glamour. Someone give me a drink, that top shelf liquor. She understands the Velcro, come over saying hello. Yeah, girl, I like it when you move it like Jello. Hey, how you doing? Yeah, we're pursuing. Just so you know, I ain't very good at losing. I know my sex flop be giving you the bad thoughts. Girl, sex appeal is the only thing that I got. I know my sex flop be giving you the bad thoughts. I know my feet be dripping with that mighty fine sauce. I know my sex flop be giving you the bad thoughts. Girl, sex appeal is the only thing that I got. I know my sex flop be giving you the bad thoughts. I know my feet be dripping with that mighty fine sauce. Here it up the floor in my sex flops. They always want more, I can't be stopped. One thing you know for sure, you're gon' be rocked. I've heard it all before, I never forgot. Dripping with the fine sauce be giving you the bad thoughts. No, you can't stop thinking about me wearing my sex flops. Sipping whiskey on the rocks, sex appeal and all I got. Something you should know. Ain't no afterthought, ain't no afterthought, ain't no afterthought. No, you don't like my style, oh, you gon' have to go. Always evolving, I never plateau. Goals every day to leave them like whoa, leave them like whoa, leave them like whoa. Look on your face, you were ready for the show. Left him in the dust many years ago. Put my swagger in a cup, it gon' overflow. Tearing up the floor and my sex flops. They always want more, I can't be stopped. One thing you know for sure, you're gon' be rocked. I've heard it all before, I never forgot. I know my sex flop be giving you the bad thoughts. Girl, sex appeal is the only thing that I got. I know my sex flop be giving you the bad thoughts. I know my feet be dripping with that mighty fine sauce. I know my sex flop be giving you the bad thoughts. Girl, sex appeal is the only thing that I got. Motherfucker, I know my sex flop be giving you the bad thoughts. I know my feet be dripping with the mighty fine sauce. Woo! Thank you so much. Sex flops. You want me to do lady boners? Hey, the next song, let's switch it up. Can we do lady boners next, DJ? My good friend Trista Tyrese also all this song. Shout out to Trista. This goes out to all the beautiful women out there who give me a lady boner. This one's for you, Grandma. You're giving me lady boners. Not in my car, it's alone. And I just wanna take you for a ride. I just wanna take you for a ride. Ooh, I like the way my side. Ooh, the meaning of fine. I just wanna take you for a ride. I just wanna take you for a ride. Pointing on your lap, one hand on the wheel. Baby, please don't touch his aim. My automobile driving like we're in an honest deal. What I'm gonna steal. Oh, you baby, wake up, bogeys, just make me kneel. Got a couple Benny Franks in the bank, I wanna spin on you. Maybe I can buy some kind of ashes if you want me to. My heart is running louder than this VM motor. It's touching, starts the game, no one near sober. Clearly your take something premium, made of only the finest beauty. It's fucking yeah. I think this is reclined. Gosh, you the biggest damn gift to mankind. I just wanna unwind, put this on rewind. We can fly to the moon, get ready to be jet lag. Wanna talk about you to my friends, all I do is brag. All I do is brag, girl, can't touch your swag. All I do is brag, girl, can't touch your swag. Giving me lady bonus.
wanna take you for a ride. I just wanna take you for a ride. Ooh, I like you by my side. Ooh, the meaning of fine. I just wanna take you for a ride. I just wanna take you for a ride.
Trista.
Lady bonus, dildo holders. Bag me a Latina chica in the numbers. Kinda square, now she bae. I told you, touching on her in the corner, crushing on her, crossing borders. Dirty Racket, she ratchet, that's my bitch.
That's my bitch.
Told me to find love, now I got a bitch. Hard on like I got a real dick. Ain't gonna lie, sometimes it's purple and I wear it. I really do wear it though. Hold her heart, I'm a hoarder, you know it. Herb season can't hit and they already know it. Got you in my back seat, loner. Chica so sexy, she's dope. Homer, blood pressure running up, I might need a donor. Got my boxers wet, shit, a lady boner.
You giving me lady boners. Not in my car, it's a loner. And I just wanna take you for a ride. I just wanna take you for a ride. Ooh, I like you by my side. Ooh, the meaning of fine. I just wanna take you for a ride. I just wanna take you for a ride. You're giving me lady boners. Not in my car, it's a loner. And I just wanna take you for a ride. I just wanna take you for a ride. Ooh, I like you by my side. The meaning of fine. I just wanna take you for a ride. I just wanna take you for a ride.
Thank you. Thank you so much. This next song, we're gonna do dishes next. I'm sorry, I'm switching this up on you. We're gonna do dishes next. I wrote this song during the pandemic because I feel like all we ever did was cook at home and clean dishes. This song is about dishes. Shout out to all my bitches in the kitchen doing dishes. Dishes. Look at all these dishes. Working so hard, she be loving my ambition. Yeah, dishes. Look at all these dishes. Shout out to my bitches in the kitchen doing dishes. Yeah, dishes. Look at all these dishes. Working so hard, she be loving my ambition. Yeah, dishes. Ooh, look at all these dishes. Shout out to my bitches in the kitchen doing dishes. Yeah. Look at me scrub, look at me clean, look at me wipe now. Look at this spade, look at this sponge, look at this gone now. Getting all these dishes cleaner than now. Scrub it up, dog, do it all every day now. Look at me scrub, look at me clean, look at me wipe now. Look at the stain, look at the smudge, look at this gone now. Getting all these dishes cleaner than now. Scrub it up, dog, do it all every day now. Scrub, scrub it up, dog. Look at all these dishes soaking in the suds, yeah. Ooh, scrub it up, dog. Look at all these dishes soaking in the suds, yeah. Dishes. Look at all these dishes working so hard, she be loving my ambition, yeah. Dishes. Look at all these dishes. Shout out to my bitches in the kitchen doing dishes, yeah. Dishes. Woo. Look at all these dishes working so hard, she be loving my ambition, yeah. Dishes. Ooh. Look at all these dishes. Shout out to my bitches in the kitchen doing dishes, yeah. I don't recognize them. Mama taught me well and now I give them all lessons. Slay these kitchen dishes in only 2 seconds. Baby, if you're lucky, I'll come slay yours too. Haters gonna say I use the dishwasher. Little do they know that I'm a dishwashing monster. All them soapy soap brands are trying to be my sponsors. Here up in this kitchen, these dishes I will conquer. Go up, scrub it up, dab. Look at all these dishes soaking in the suds, yeah. Ooh, scrub it up, dab. Look at all these dishes soaking in the suds, yeah. Dishes, ooh, look at all these dishes working so hard, she been loving my ambition, yeah. Ooh, look at all these dishes. Shout out to my bitches in the kitchen doing dishes, yeah. Dishes, ooh, look at all these dishes working so hard, she be loving my ambition, yeah. Dishes, ooh, look at all these dishes. Shout out to my bitches in the kitchen doing dishes, yeah. Scrub it up, dog, bitch. Woo. Oh my God. Shout out to my bitches in the kitchen doing dishes, yeah. All right, we have time for one more. Fuck yeah, let's do Pour Me Another. This song is about getting drunk after heartbreak. We've all been there. So drunk in the saloon, thinking about who I'm gonna be without you, yeah. Bartender pour me another whiskey, lady to my left, she be getting a little frisky, yeah. Getting so drunk in the saloon, thinking about who I'm gonna be without you, yeah. Bartender pour me another whiskey, lady to my left, she be getting a little frisky, yeah. Finding happiness in the bottom of this glass. I don't really know how to talk about the past. I've had better days, but I'm really glad you asked. Don't mind me, I'm just trying to get smashed. Bartender pour me another all day bender. I don't remember, she a heartbreaker, repeat offender. Cruel agenda, she a tear collector, yeah. They don't joke around when they call it the Wild West. No, no, never forget it. They call it the Wild West. No, no. Getting so drunk in the saloon, thinking about who I'm gonna be without you, yeah. Bartender pour me another whiskey, lady to my left, she be getting a little risky, yeah. Getting so drunk in the saloon, thinking about who I'm gonna be without you, yeah. Bartender pour me another whiskey, lady to my left, she be getting a little frisky, yeah. So drunk right now. Oh, oh. Pour me another whiskey, yeah. So drunk in the saloon, thinking about who I'm gonna be without you, yeah. Bartender pour me another whiskey, lady to my left, she be getting a little frisky, yeah. Getting so drunk in the saloon, thinking about who I'm gonna be without you, yeah. Bartender pour me another whiskey, lady to my left, she be getting a little frisky, yeah. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. That has been Dirty Racket. And we are back with the smoke break. Thank you so much, Dirty Racket, for gracing our ears.
You're very welcome. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, it looks like it took it out of both of you.
No, I'm fine. I could dance for days, but that was electric.
Thank you so much. Thank you. It was a lot of fun.
Yes, give you your flowers. Give you your flowers.
Thank you.
Dirty Brentley still's got juice.
Dirty Brentley still got juice. He
I'm
can
a
dance.
juicy peach.
Oh my God.
Juicy Brentley.
Oh my God.
There's two callbacks.
There's two callbacks, one episode. You folks are getting bonus this one. So we're gonna wrap up real quick. We're just gonna talk about hope. Whew, hope.
I hope my grandma doesn't see me dancing to Lady Boners.
I'm gonna tag her in it.
No, I think that hope is something it's important to have, but it's important not to misplace. And that is one of the harder parts. So what do you think is the importance of having hope?
You're not sad all the time, maybe, I think.
Sure.
I mean, don't they say that optimists live longer? And you can't be an optimist if you don't have hope.
Sure.
You know?
Yeah.
Yeah, hope. Hope helps me.
But also, if life sucks, why would you want to live longer? You know what I'm saying?
True.
That's coming from a pessimist. So, I'm just like, wait, optimists live longer? Good. They deserve it. Fuck them.
Because when life sucks, it can only get better. Just like when things are going good, brace yourself.
Yeah.
You know, I'm like, I don't know. It's all like a roller coaster.
It's always darkest before the dawn.
Yes.
I hate it when people say that to me.
I knew a girl in college named Hope Hanselman. And isn't that a great name? She ended up being a news reporter.
Yeah.
It's like a classic.
You would have to become a news reporter with that name.
Yeah, that's a great name.
Yeah. That's not the hope you were talking about. But I smoked a bowl while Rachelle was rapping.
Well, I hope that was such a corny segue that I guess, like, what about you? What do you think is like the importance of hope? Whether it's important to have, whether it can be misplaced.
I think it's important. If you can get out of bed every day without it and pursue whatever you're pursuing, I guess that would work too. But hope can sometimes keep you going in dark moments, which tend to happen along the road, like along the way.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So it's easy to get out of bed when things are going well.
Yes.
It's hard to get out of bed when they're going badly and you feel like crap.
Mm-hmm.
But if you can somehow maintain some hope that they're going to improve, Maybe you can put one foot in front of the other and take a walk that day, or stop, playing video games that day, or do something small that starts to move the ball in the right direction. So,
well, I think it's just the belief that things can be better, that like the way things currently are isn't the way that they'll always be. I think that's a lot of what hope is just like, yes, it's bad today, but it doesn't have to be bad tomorrow,
Yeah. And it's interesting, like, what do you hope for when things are going well? That they stay going well, or is that worrying about them going bad?
Hoping they don't go bad is mostly what it is.
Is that a hope or is that a worry?
Ooh, that's a good question.
Can it be both?
Yeah.
Can you, if you just maintain hope that it keeps getting better? I guess it could be both.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, hope is momentum, I think. Like, makes you want to keep going.
Yeah.
How would you? I don't know how you would misplace hope. Is there such thing as misplaced hope?
I guess there is.
A great question.
Yeah, no, it is a really good question, and it's something that I kept bringing up. I was like, misplaced hope. I guess that with me, it's making sure that like I'm putting my energy towards the right things, and making sure that like if I am going to hope, if I am going to use basically like this extra reserve of like motivation, that like I'm placing it in the right spot, because there are some situations that are hopeless, as hard as that is to hear. But at the same time, I think that, if you can put your hope into the right area, then it's not wasted, I guess. It's never really wasted. Go ahead.
I think there's misplaced hope. Yeah. When you hope for hopeless situations, which definitely happen, especially when they involve other people.
Yeah.
You can put hope into a person treating you right, or you could put hope into a person coming around to loving you or liking you, and that can go wrong,
Yeah.
So your hope does have to match your reality on some level. Like, you can hope that your stand-up career takes off, but if you're not also like matching that with some effort and like discipline, hope can just be this way of passing time and being lazy.
Thinking that you're doing work by like just hoping that that you do the work, or hoping that it gets better.
So it does have to, hope is a great component of success, but it's not. It has to be paired up with something else, and it has to match. It has to.
Yeah, your actions have to align with it for sure.
Some self-awareness has to be a part of that. Well, that's a great question too, because you sometimes can not realize you're hoping for hopeless things, but I think often they depend on others.
Yeah. When has been a situation where you found hope in somebody else, like you were inspired by them?
I had a friend named Hope Hanselman. I'm just kidding.
I'd hope in.
I mean, my girlfriend is somebody who, I was single for like maybe 12 years.
Sure.
So there was this sort of kind of starting to accept maybe nobody would like love me.
Oh, Brent.
Sure.
And so being myself and then being loved for it gave me hope that like, oh, maybe there's lovable things about me. Maybe I could be loved. So yeah, that's been big.
For the record, you're very lovable. Just
Stop
so you know.
Yeah.
Came here to shower you with compliments.
Dirty Racket.
Probably this is also kind of sad. Hope in my parents, like hoping that they'll still am I gonna cry? Love me.
Yeah.
I didn't think I was gonna cry. Yeah. And they do for the record. But,
yeah.
I hope they see how good you are at what you do and how much like joy you put into it. So, I mean, they did something right. They did do something right. No, they're good people. Yeah, and they've come around a lot. So
yeah, well, it's kind of that putting hope in other people, and I think that sometimes it can be wasted, but sometimes if you are patient with people, that you can give them the opportunity to come around and show you that they aren't the people that you were afraid they were.
Yeah,
I think we all hope to be understood no matter what we are. And so like maybe your hopes can't be specific actions from certain people, but like if you like we've said in the first two topics, are pursuing your authenticity, you would hope that people through that process at least understand who you are. And then what decisions they make about you are out of your control. But I mean, the people that made you you would hope that they see some of themselves in you.
Yeah, for sure. Way to put a through line through all the topics we did today.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that was
well
impressive.
done. That was great. Yeah.
Threaded the needle.
Yeah.
No, I think that, you know, hope is an important thing for me, just because, you know, there's more bad days than there are good days, and on the days that are bad, like, I have to remember that it was good at one point, and I have to believe that it can be better than it is right now.
Yeah.
So, but at the same time, you know, I think that, you know, having just a healthy amount of it, you know, because there are going to be people in our lives that we hope have understanding for us that don't. You know, there are going to be people in our lives that we hope can see our most authentic self and enjoy that with us, but it's not always the case. But, you know, the flip side of that is that there are people who can see you and can know your story and can understand you and will through and through give you more reason to have more hope.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, no, I appreciate you sharing that. So, like, does goal setting?
Sorry, I did not mean to cry on this podcast.
No,
I'm really
there's
sorry.
actually an episode.
This is not called the cry break. Okay.
No, there's literally an episode called the one where Zane cries. And
Really?
Yeah,
Oh.
yeah. There was this youth advocate who was talking about just working with like these youths that like people had just kind of given up on, and just showing up and just being like, hey, like, this person is fucking trying. This person has fucked up. I am both aware of that, but I also see, and it's like, that's what happened for me when I had gotten busted for meth, is I was like, my life's over. Nobody gives a fuck. Like, I've done I fucked up as bad as you can fuck up at the time. And I had given up so much, and just to have somebody show up and be like, no, like, you should have hope. Like, and people should have hope with you, you know, and be supportive. And it fucking made me cry like a baby.
Oh,
don't feel too bad. You're in good company.
Thanks, Zane.
But so with hope, how do you feel like goal setting kind of ties into that? Do you feel like it's important to like set goals and like maybe reach like little things, so that way you can have the belief that like the bigger things are possible? Or
Yes, definitely. Because I'm going to say it again. When you accomplish small things, it gives you momentum. It gets that ball rolling. It makes you go, okay, if I can do this, then I can probably do that. And you push the goalpost farther away until you fucking get your Netflix special, baby.
Yeah,
You know?
yeah, definitely.
But small goals definitely help achieve the bigger ones, because that's all a big goal is. It's an accumulation of smaller goals.
yeah,
you know?
yeah, that's definitely a really good way to put that. What about you?
I don't know. Like, I'm always setting goals that I look back on and go like, oh, that was ambitious, you know? Like, but then what's
Too
funny
hopeful.
is certain parts of my like visions for vision boarding, you know, will end up coming eventually. Like, so rarely in the time frame that I set, you know, and sometimes pursuing a number so like with such tunnel vision that you, even if you achieve it, you might get to the end and be so burned out that you're like, what did I do that for? You know? So making goals has always been tricky for me, because it almost feels better to just pick like broad visions of, and you can get specific with like what your vision is, but then just pursuing the next thing that feels right.
Yeah.
And just letting that, like Rachelle said, kind of pile on to what you can achieve. And then all of a sudden you look and you're like, oh man, I used to visualize, like when I heard Kyle Kinane move to Beaverton, I was like, oh man, we're going to get him to show up to this mic and and then we'll link blah, blah, blah. And it didn't happen the way I wanted to, but like, it's been 3 years since I heard that. And I just got to do a show at the Liberty Theater in Astoria with him and Drew Wilson McGrath. And it was this moment where you're like, it did happen in a way cooler way than I imagined. And it took longer, but like, you know, you keep visions broad and then the world will surprise you with how it actually happens.
That was also on my fucking vision board. In college, I would listen to Kyle Kinane while shelving books. I was a book shelver. And I was like, one day I would love to be on a show with Kyle Kinane. And then he drops by my show at the Cruise Room one day. And and I was like, I can't believe this is real life right now. Yeah, that was like 10 years later, but it happened.
Yeah, well, I think
we have a lot in common.
We do. I fucking love Kyle Kinane.
Well, I think just being open to the way that, like, you know, hoping for something, but being excited for other things. You know, like if you can hope for one thing and being excited that it happened, maybe not the way that you planned it, but that it happened at all, I feel like kind of like reinforces like, oh, okay, this wasn't a useless thing to hope for. It just, you know, it may have seemed helpless or hopeless in the moment that like I was originally asking for it. So, yeah.
I think it's very important to write them down too. I know it's very, like, people say this all the time, but it's very important to write down what you want in life, you know?
Yeah.
There's something magical about putting your hand to a piece of paper and seeing your goal.
For sure. And
in
just
real life.
getting out and moving toward what you think will make it happen. Because even if it's wrong, you'll figure out that it's wrong. But if you just stay inside vision boarding, that's all you'll do.
Yeah,
definitely. No, I'm definitely like a list maker, and I have lists about lists I should make. Like I literally fucking take up all my time like trying to plan for this thing and then end up not doing any of it, when it's like having the plan is important because it means that like I can see like, oh man, I remember when I wanted this and now I have this, and like I never thought I would have this, and I never, you know what I mean? Like you can see your growth kind of happen.
You should get Chat GPT. We were talking about it before the show, but like lists, it's good at lists.
Yeah. Well, and I think just direction, because it's like I need that kind of like, you know, what did you say, like an associate producer, you know what I mean? Just like somebody else, like another brain on the topic, so it's not just me looking at it being like, I don't think it's possible. So
yeah, and you can annoy, like your friends would get annoyed with repeated silly questions, but you could ask it a bunch of things like, and it won't be like, you already asked me that.
Right. It's like a therapist that doesn't get annoyed. No, that's super dope. That's super dope. So before we wrap up, I'll ask one more question. How do you use your values to continue to stay inspired?
Fuck.
We got 1 minute before we wrap it up.
You're like, damn it, I thought I was nailing this podcast.
I know.
Came in with the heavy question. Rachelle, you got
how I use my values. I think the most important value is to be kind and to leave people feeling better than where you found them. I think is like how I want to inspire and be better.
Yeah.
Can you say it again?
How do you use your values to continue to stay inspired?
Try to listen to the voice that is deep in your head and it tells you know. I don't know. I don't like to do what other people tell me to do. So if I just do, I don't know. Her answer was way better, and I knew it was gonna be better too. I don't know. My values. I just love making people laugh. I feel like that in my head, I'm like, that should be enough. I know that you also should be kind and leave people feeling better. But in my head, I'm like, if I make them laugh, isn't that going to do that already?
You are. You're leaving them better.
Yep,
and then I sell them popcorn.
Yep. Hey, perfect. All right. Well, that's been the Smoke Break. We're here every Sunday from 9 to 10 a.m. on Shady Pines Radio, as well as Pretty Dope Experience Radio. I've been your host, your old pal Zane, here with Brent Lowrey and Rachelle Cochran.
Thanks for having us,
dude.
Yeah, thank you so much.